Aloha everyone! Welcome to the basics of iMovie. We're going to basically be going through the very skeletal, basics of this program on your iPhone. So I'm really happy to be helping you guys out. I'm not really sure what version I have, but let's just go for it. I think I have an iPhone 6. So let's click on iMovie and up comes my project. Typically it goes right into the project you were last working on, but let's go ahead and look at all of the projects that I have. So these are some of the projects that I've been working on. Some of you have seen my hilarious weirdo movies slash music videos. So up top, right underneath the time on your phone, you can see there's video, projects, and theater. I don't use theater, so let's just stick with projects and video. So video is going to show you all the video that you have available on your phone. Amazing, huh? And then projects is the projects that you have been working on in iMovie. So I'm going to just open up my little template here and I'll show you guys what all of this means on the screen. So that square where it says breathe with the little circle in the middle with the little film little logo with the pen, that means edit. So the title, Past Power Intro, that's the title of my project. And the duration, it says it's 7 minutes and 32 seconds, and it was last modified on April 3rd of 2016. So the little play button at the bottom left is if you want to simply see the project. Oh, and it's not letting me show you guys because I'm using this program. You could also, in that middle button with the square with the arrow pointing up, that's if you want to export the project. So whenever you're finished, this is how you actually get it to become a movie file. And then of course the trash button is if you want to delete the entire project. So let's go ahead and click on that edit button right in the middle there. And there I am. There's that project that first popped up. And I'm going to teach you guys the basics of what all these buttons are right now, okay? And then later on, we're going to get into how to do everything. So as you can tell, the title's at the very top, the back button, and there's a little help question mark button in the upper right-hand corner. So the way I'm moving this right now is just simply using my finger on my phone and scrolling. So that's pretty simple and self-explanatory. This button with the film and the music note in the middle left, that's how you're going to drag all your content that you use, whether it's an audio or a visual, into your project, into your timeline. So once you click on that, you're going to see there's a choice between video. So on the bottom, you can click on video, which is the left, the photos in the middle, or audio to the right. So audio, you get to choose from the theme music and sound effects that are in iMovie. And then, of course, there's all your songs and your own database of audio. Photos in the middle is all of your images that are not moving images like film, right? So these are images you get to use. And also to the left is video. These are all of your video files on your phone. I'm going to hit cancel. Okay, so basically this, the button to the right of that is, let's say I scroll over and I hit that button, it's going to go back to back a segment basically. So every time you're splitting your video or you're adding a transition, that's, how you can go back one segment. I don't think I've ever used this button. The play button is going to show you what's going on with what you've been editing to check out how it's going. And then that little U-turn arrow is like undo, okay? It's like an undo button. So let's get to the layers here. So a digital workstation, which can be audio only, or it can be film, which is audio and visual. There's always layers, right? So as you can see, there's the layer of the visual on top of the layer of the audio. And I just basically picked a song from my, my music database on my phone, right? So there's so many different options in terms of how you can layer this and how you can play with it. But I like to keep it really, really, really simple and not layer it too much when it comes to making film. I like to have more fun with that when I work with audio. So the button on the bottom, the camera, is actually going to allow you to take a picture. Or you can also take video. So I'm going to hit cancel on this. You could also use the mic, which is the next button to the right, and hit record. I tested this out, I think, yesterday because I hadn't used it before then, and it didn't sound that great. So I highly suggest using audio on your voice memo app on your iPhone, and then importing that from your audio section here, right? It would be under songs probably, or because it would show up in your iTunes. So back to editing. Sorry about that. The other button in the bottom right is the settings button. Once you click on that, you get to actually choose from a filter to put on the entire project. If I wanted the entire project to be black and white, I would click black and white, or I can choose from a different one. I'm just going to keep it at none for now. And I always, if I choose a theme, I choose simple. The theme music's pretty cheesy, so I usually keep that off and choose my own music. And fade in from black and fade out from black, I almost always have these on because that puts a professional look on it. Speed changes, pitch, I always have that off because I'm basically never using speed changes, and I'll show you what that is in a minute, but I'm not going to get into it because it's not really a professional thing that I use often. Okay, so you're also going to be clicking on each track, both the audio and the visual, and you could also be clicking on the segments in between. Okay, you notice there's a T on this one. That means there's text, and there is no text on that segment, but then there's text again on this segment. Oh my gosh. Right? So this is basically the breakdown of what all these little bells and whistles are. So once you click on an image, so notice that this is an image, guys. This is not a film. This is from my image database, right? So if I had clicked on here and went to photos and clicked on my most recent one, recently added, I want to see my most recent one. Can we all just get a longboard? It's not in there. Oh wait, is it? Here it is. Is it coming? Here it is. Yay. Can we all just get a longboard? So I just love this. I've been surfing all week. I've been really stoked. So, right, it's just gonna, this is an image. This is not a film. So when you have an image, and we're just gonna click delete, you get the choice of how you want it to move. If you don't want your image to move, guys, basically, you would, if I want it to be there in the middle, say, the whole time. So it says pinch to position the start. So that was me basically using my finger to position where I want it to start. And then it says position where you want it to end. Well, I'm just going to put it right back in the middle. So you'll see it's not really going to move much. It might move a little bit, but not really, right? So, but if I want it to start up here, and then end down here. Let's try that. Pretty cool, huh? Looks great. So the image thing is fun. You get to make it, animated, which in a professional digital workstation, it's more work. So it's really kind of easy when it's on your phone. So take advantage of that. Also, there's, it says there's text on here. Let's see if there's actually text. How funny. Not anymore. So, and each segment separates itself through some sort of transition, right? So as you can tell, you can sort of start seeing the next one. That is called dissolve. There could be a theme, which is one that comes with the theme that you choose here, right? So it depends, and I don't usually use those. Like I said, they're pretty cheesy. So I like dissolve. Slide is really cheesy. Wipe is really cheesy. There's like fade's not too cheesy. It just fades out to black. But I like dissolve a lot. It looks professional. And you can also choose in the bottom left corner how fast the dissolve is, right? And each effect has a different choice of time. Theme has more than others. And there's also a choice to have a sound effects. I, like you might realize, choose not to because it is a little cheesy. But sometimes if I'm doing a funny video, which some of you know I have done in the past, those kind of sound effects are fun. So there's really no, so every time you click on an image versus clicking on a video, okay, so notice the bottom tools here. They're all available. There's the scissors, there's that like speedometer, there's the audio button, there's the text, and then there's the basically the what is that called? Filters and stuff, right? So the difference between the video and the image is, oh my gosh, look at the bottom. You cannot touch the speed one and the audio, because if you think about it, there's no audio attached to my image. There's only audio attached to my video because I'm talking on it. And also with speed, you're only speeding up if you want the image to move, which you're only doing with that pinch to position the end tool that's up on the actual video itself, the image. So don't worry about trying to use speed or audio on that. But when it comes to your video file, speed, this is not something I play with unless I'm trying to get into something really detailed, which is not what I'm teaching here. This is just simple stuff. So I actually just keep that off. Audio, obviously I want to hear my voice, so I keep it pretty much at that level that they suggest, which is 100% in their opinion. Okay, so let's just try to get that. This is the other thing that's a little frustrating about the phone, but honestly, compared to trying to do all this on the computer, it's so easy. Okay, so we'll just keep it at 99. So the idea for the video tools versus the image tools. So text, you could put on an image and you can use a filter, but I suggest using this filter button in the, in this. So if you just click away from the track and that settings button down at the end, if you use this project filter, it's for the entire project. And I'm assuming you want consistency with the filter throughout the project. So stick with using it for the entire project versus each track, right? So let's get to the video. You can split, so the scissors are highlighted right now, right? And that's the editing tool. So you can split, detach, duplicate, and delete. So let me show you splitting. Boom. Okay, I just split that in half. And I'm going to hit the undo button. So let's just go here because it's a bigger video to work with. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to hit split so you can see there it is. It's split. Now there's, I get to choose dissolve or theme or slide or wipe. So now it's doing its thing, it's kind of like gonna have it's going on. So thank you. Its own little choice of how you want it to transition. If it says none, you actually don't see anything. So you're basically splitting it without a transition. Why would you want to do this? Maybe you want text only up until this point, and then you want it to go away. And how would you do that? You would click the T, and then you'd pick which one you want the most. Let's say this line title one. Then you end up clicking the title text here, and then you can say, what up? What up-o? Then you can click down here, party people, right? And so now you have this text in the lower third, and now you have this transition. What up, party people, right? And it's going to go stay there all the way until this point is where I decided, and then dissolves. So if I want to delete all that, I just undo, 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 undo all these transitions. Oh my, I have a lot of transitions. So I'm basically just going to get rid of the text. Undo. Wonder why it's asking me now. Probably because I've done it so many times. So if I go to text and then I click on none, then we're taken care of. Easy way to do it. So just wanted to make sure it wasn't split anymore either, although I could have gotten rid of that as well. So it's sort of important, guys, that, you know, when you're using these tools, you understand the simplicity of it all, right? There's also, when you're using text, there's that, say I'm using Prism, there's an option to have sound effects. See, right above the T button. If like I said before, it's a little cheesy to do that, but if you're into it, go for it. And with hitting the settings button, oh, it's not letting me hit it. I'm not really sure what that pinpoint is either, but I don't think it's important. So I'm going to hit the none again on the text. Like I said, speed, not important. Volume, obviously, is going to need to be heard. And like I said, using a filter isn't as important unless you're doing some crazy fun thing where you want each segment to be different. I did that on my little dance video that I'm sure you will see at some point. So, you know, splitting, detaching, it's making a whole nother layer here, okay? And it's basically like, you know, something that we're not going to need to do. So I'm going to hit delete. It's just not that important. Duplicate is when you basically copy and paste a whole nother, the same exact segment right after the segment. So I'm just going to hit undo for that. So there's lots of things you get to use for the editing part. But that's basically it for the, you know, the basics of what you can do. Pinch to zoom video. Let's see if that's, yeah, I don't think I really want to have that zoomed in. But if you really want to zoom your video in, there you go. You know how to do it. You can click that little button right there. So yeah, I think that's basically it. Oh, clicking on the audio. Here we go. If you want to click on the audio and turn it up or turn it down. Oh, this is what's important. So as you can tell, this one's a little bit further down because I'm talking. This one's a little bit louder because it's just an intro. And do you see this dark part at the left and how it gets dark again to the right? That's because I used what's called trimming. So click on the scissors here. And let's see here. Split, foreground, duplicate, delete. What did I do? How did I do that? It's not showing me. Because I think it's not. It was with trim. Fade. Okay, so here we go. So you have to go to the audio button here. And then there's the fade button. And then, so the trim button, okay, so this is actually on trim right now. So if you want to go to fade, you click fade. And if you want to go to trim, then you click trim again. So the fade is basically, see these little triangles? You get to move those around. You get to move those to where you want the sound to come in. So now it's going to start at this quiet sound, 0, right? It's no sound, going up to as much as I'm wanting it to, which is right here. That's how I changed where I want it to be. And then at the end, I want my arrow to be right about here so that it quiets down. And then it's going to go right into where the volume is, which is right here. Okay. Probably just enough so that you can hear the music behind me talking. So the trim is this. because you can trim it, right? I'm actually going to hit undo on that so I know where that goes. And then, oh, where did it? Uh-oh, I think I messed it up. I did totally mess that up. How funny. That happens. So how do I fix that? Well, what I wanted to do was have it split here. So I'm going to click that, click trim, or I'm sorry, the edit button, then split. And then for this, we're going to go to that audio button, go to fade, and we're going to just put it back to where it was. And make sure that this is a little bit further down, because like I said, I was talking. And now it should be right to where it was. It sounds really good. I'm sure you guys can't hear that, so sorry about that. So, like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory in terms of, you know, just practicing and getting intuitive with this, but hopefully this little 20-minute video helps you guys get a little grasp of the basic buttons of iMovie. And I'm super excited to get into showing you guys how to use the rest of it and, you know, actually creating some projects. So I'll see you there. Aloha.